More important to help them. And to help me.
Our Business Improvement Association. Thank you as well to our community sponsors, the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board and the Sheraton Vancouver Guildford Hotel. And thanks to all of you for attending tonight. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are on the traditional territory of the Coast Salish peoples, specifically the Kwantlen, Katsi, Coquitlam, Kakite, Samiao, and Tsawwassen First Nations. As well, I acknowledge the Inuit and Métis Nations peoples who live and work on these territories. In the audience tonight, we have some special guests. Trevor Halford, MLA for Surrey White Rock. Feel free to stand and wave, do your thing. City of White Rock Councillor and Acting Mayor, Bill Lawrence. City of White Rock Councillor, David Chesney. We also have some members of the Surrey Board of Trade and South Surrey and White Rock Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. We have Chair Rory Morgan of the Surrey Board of Trade. We have Vice Chair Anthony Manning of the South Surrey and White Rock Chamber. We have Board Director Virginder Burgee. I saw Virginder. There she is, South Surrey and White Rock Chamber. And Surrey Board of Trade Board Director Richard Fung. The Surrey Board of Trade and South Surrey and White Rock Chamber are nonpartisan business organizations. Our role is to instigate change at different levels of government with any political public servant in office. We host these events with the political candidates for every election because we want to understand their vision for Surrey and White Rock's business communities. We've been representing the business community for over 100 years and are part of a 500-year-old tradition. I encourage you to connect with us to learn more about how you can be involved in the Surrey Board of Trade and the South Surrey and White Rock Chamber of Commerce. The upcoming election is one of the most consequential of our time. With ongoing threats to our economy and challenges such as affordability, infrastructure, and healthcare access, voters need to make an informed decision on election day. Surrey and White Rock are growing communities with diverse needs, and your concerns deserve to be heard by government.
Between the U.S. and China.
Okay. Your presence here tonight is a powerful reminder that democracy thrives when citizens stay informed and engaged. The simple act of marking a ballot tells our leaders what we think about decisions that affect our lives. You are all here because you want to learn about these candidates and how their decisions will impact you. And what you hear tonight will inform your vote. Advance voting starts this Friday, April 18th, and runs through Monday, April 21st, with the official election date being April 28th. I now invite one of our co-host representatives of this event, Lavender Gill, President of the South Asian Business Association, to come forward. Please welcome.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lavender Gill, and I'm the president of the South Asian Business Association of BC. It's an honor to join our partners, the Surrey Board of Trade, South Surrey and White Rock Chamber of Commerce and the White Rock Business Improvement Association for this important event. This federal election candidates event is coming at a vital time due to the global uncertainties and economic shifts. The winning candidate will be the voice of the Surrey and White Rock communities. There is already a thriving small business culture in these communities, and now more than ever is the need to address their sustenance, independence, and growth. At Sabah, we encourage and support entrepreneurship and philanthropy. In the past 16 years, we have developed deep roots in this community and supported educational institutions like Quadrant Polytechnic University and hospitals like Royal Columbia Hospital Foundation. We have hosted events like health and wellness seminars and annual golf tournaments in the past, which were a roaring success, and today will be the same. Thank you to all the candidates for taking the time to attend this event, and we look forward to hearing from you today. Thank you much.
Okay, thank you for being here and wish you the best of luck. We will begin with having all candidates give a 1-minute introduction. In your introduction, if you could please provide the following: your name and your party, what you think your job description is as a member of Parliament, and why you are running in this election. And of course, anything else you can fit in 1 minute. We will begin alphabetically by riding with Cloverdale Langley City. Please come forward.
Woo! I guess no one wanted to show up from our writing. That's okay. Green's a good color, I think. Thanks for having me, you guys. My name is Kevin Wilkie. I'm from the Green Party, running in Cloverdale and Langley City. I think the best dressed guy in this room is actually this guy, the timekeeper. So get a picture with him at the end. He's a pretty handsome looking dude, so well done. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to have to worry about rebuttals from anyone because I'm the only one here. So anyway, the reason I'm running in the election is, I voted for all of these parties in the past, actually, and I found something to me that I can resonate with. I can, get behind, a platform that is important to where the world is going right now, and that's sustainability, environmentalism, among other things. And I, for me, being an MP is being that bridge, being different, being someone that you're not used to being in Parliament. That's what I'd like to be, and that's what it'll be for you.
Thank you. Next we have Fleetwood Port Kells.
So I guess it's just me again. My name is Shannon Permal. I'm the proud NDP candidate for Fleetwood Port Kells. I was raised by a single mother. I watched her tirelessly struggle growing up to make ends meet. And this struggle is something I know parents in our communities have faced, and we've seen it happen time and time again. But now today, we're still seeing families struggle to make ends meet. So that's kind of my driving force into taking control of my future, to be able to create a future that is affordable, that is accessible. And because I'm obviously one of the younger candidates, I have a long life ahead of me as well, and I want to be able to shape the future to benefit future generations as well. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to create a government that fights for people and believes that people should be put first. So thank you.
Next we have South Surrey White Rock. All of you can come forward and then take turns. Oh, yeah.
Who's first, who's second?
We'll start with Carrie Lynn.
Okay. And we'll fix the mic first. Don't start my talking. I'm Carrie Lynn Finley, MP for South Surrey White Rock for 6 years, and your 2025 Conservative candidate, and Pierre Poilievre's BC Leadership Rep. Because the Liberals called a snap election, other Surrey candidates are focused on door knocking and direct voter engagement. I've learned as Chief Opposition Whip and as a Cabinet Minister that when you're from BC, you first have to educate, then advocate. You need to show decision makers back east who we are in BC and why we matter. I've always been accountable, taking on many senior responsibilities. I keep in touch through regular mailings, e-newsletters, social media, and meetings. I'm a civil litigation trial lawyer, certified mediator, arbitrator, and negotiator, and a mom of 4. My King's Council appointment is for high ethics and superior legal knowledge. I bring that training to my job as MP. Politicians should be the servants, and the people should be the masters. I'm here in your service. Thank you.
My name is Christine Kinney, and I'm the Green Party candidate for South Surrey White Rock, and I'm here to interview for a job that I want. My job description as Member of Parliament is to be an advocate for public interest and justice. As a Green MP, I'll work for the interest of my constituents, not the party. Our party has no whip. We are encouraged to represent our constituents fully, and we do not vote in line with the party if it's not in the best interests of our constituents. I don't think we'll be elected as a majority, but as a minority, we can have a lot of influence. The Green Party platform has historically been the only one that is fully costed. Ours is currently going through that process at the Parliamentary Budget Officer and will be available tomorrow, April 16th. So if you are, the Green Party has always supported small and medium-sized businesses as they are rooted locally and the backbone of a good local economy, which is why I'm here today.
Thank you. My name is Ernie Clausen, and I am running as the Liberal Party candidate for South Surrey and White Rock. For me, a longtime resident and business owner, this election is about two starkly different visions for Canada. The Liberal Party plan is a forward-looking vision for our country, where the government is a true partner in building a stronger, more resilient Canada. If elected, I will be the voice for the residents of this riding in Ottawa. I am committed to listening and advocating for you on important issues such as regional transit, climate change, making life more affordable, and growing our economy by helping to unlock interprovincial trade. South Surrey White Rock deserves a strong voice in Ottawa, one that is committed to doing the work and showing up for our community. I believe I'm that candidate, and I am ready to get to work for you.
Thank you, Sister. And we'll invite Surrey Centre.
Hi, my name is Randeep Sarai. I'm running for the 4th time as the Member of Parliament for Surrey Centre. I'm the Liberal candidate in that riding, and I've served that riding for 10 years. I think a job of a Member of Parliament is to take the voice of their people to Ottawa and bring the results of that voice back to the people in their riding. This is a very consequential, important election that has consequences that will go on for generations. I think the most important task is to protect our jobs, our economy, and most of all, our sovereignty. I think for that, a leader like Mark Carney is the person that needs to deal with the global economic crisis started by Donald Trump, and it's something that I will champion alongside with him. I'm proud to be one of the busiest, along with my colleague from Surrey Newton, one of the busiest constituency offices in the country. I'm always transparent, I'm always here for everyone, and as you can see today, I'm the only candidate from my riding that's here to listen to you, and I'm the same way after the election. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Suk Daliwal. I have represented twice the people of Newton, North Delta, and 3 terms as people of Surrey, Newton. I lived in this riding for the last 28 years, and for those 28 years, my elderly parents lived with me I raised my family here in this city, and now they raised, two of them became medical doctors, and they are practicing here in British Columbia, and the third one is seeking or pursuing his teaching career at the SFU. And I also ran my business for the last 28 years here in Surrey, Newton, and I've been accountable and accessible all the time. Everyone, and I can tell this in this room too, many of you have my personal cell phone and reach me 24/7.
We have many candidates who wish to express their views to you. I now call the Cloverdale-Langley City riding to come forward to the microphone. The candidate from the Cloverdale-Langley City riding, I should say. Our first question topic is around housing affordability. This is a long three-part question.
Okay.
With the ongoing housing affordability crisis in regions like Surrey and White Rock, what specific measures would your party take to address the supply and affordability challenges in the housing market? How will your policies support the development of affordable housing, help first-time home buyers, and ensure that the federal government works in partnership with provincial and municipal governments to meet the needs of our growing communities?
That is another thing. We're one of the top three pressing issues for this election, especially in the ridings here. I don't know if there's any people from Cloverdale or Langley City in the room. Thank you. One nodding. Awesome. So I'm talking to you then, sir. Anyway, you know, a lot of people are saying, hey, let's just increase supply, get land, put supply on there, crown land, whatever. There's a lot of different you know, potential solutions out there. That's just pushing it further down the pipeline. What we're trying to do is find ways of becoming more sustainable, getting green technology, things that are actually driving the cost down of that living. We want to be able to find ways of getting people to be in cooperative housing, places where you can do mixed income, you know, where people are actually getting a chance to have a chance to own. It's not just about having that title, but it's about sharing that wealth and sharing that title together.
I do have a note here that the Liberal candidate Kyle Lashford had confirmed with us but had to cancel today, and that's why you're alone. No time to combine groups. I now would like to call the candidates from the Fleetwood, Port Kells, and the Surrey Centre riding to come forward. Your topic is public safety. With growing concerns around crime and policing transitions in Surrey, how will you work with other levels of government to ensure community safety and law enforcement effectiveness? We will start with Randy.
Sure. In the last 10 years, we've implemented $7.5 million for the Surrey Anti-Gang Family Empowerment Program and another $4 million just 2 years ago. These are helping over 5,000 individuals, over 1,000 families who are at risk or involved in youth gang involvement. And this gives a wraparound program for them to get all the services that they need, and it's centered around the city of Surrey. When it comes to the transition, our public safety minister at the time, Dominic LeBlanc, met with the mayor, Brenda Locke, to make sure that the transition from the RCMP to the Surrey Police Service goes smoothly and without any issue or hiccup. With regards to going forward, we've already agreed to hire 1,000 more CBSA officers and 1,000 more RCMP officers to control our borders, control our ports, and control our airports from fentanyl and other illicit drugs, and to fight against organized crime.
Thank you.
So community safety isn't just about policing. It's about getting to the root causes of root causes like poverty, housing, mental health issues that are causing community concerns. Growing up, I'm aware how crimes affect families and businesses, of course. While conservative parties focus more on punitive measures, Liberals take a clear plan, and the NDP is basically here to invest in the community, in community-based safety measures, mental health supports, and affordable housing to reduce the crime at its source. Because community safety starts at its roots, we want to tackle it there. So as a part of my professional work as well, I have gotten the chance to supervise people who have been convicted of crimes or are working with people that are going through the criminal justice system. And I can tell you right now, there's not enough mental health resources, addiction supports to get people the help that they need. So in order to do that, we need to get it at its root cause with mental health issues and supports.
Next, I invite South Surrey White Rock candidates to the microphone. Your topic is environment and sustainability, and the question is, in the past 4 years, businesses in our community and province have been hit hard by climate change. A heat dome that caused businesses to shut down, a once-in-a-century storm that cut Metro Vancouver off from the rest of Canada by road and rail, and a harsh winter that decimated crops across BC. What will you do to address climate change? And we'll start with Ernie.
Climate change is very obviously something that affects all of us. And I was presenting at the conference in White Rock before and saying that the Green Party has many policies and many interests that we share together with the Liberal Party. We need a climate policy that is unifying, credible and predictable to reduce emissions, drive investment, and build an economy for the future. We need to balance the environmental goals with the economic interests, especially at this time of economic uncertainty. I think the steps Mark Carney has already taken with respect to scrapping the carbon tax, committing to incentives rather than penalties are the ways to indicate our plan to balance these two incredibly important issues.
Next, we'll have Carrie Lynn, please.
We will greenlight green projects, we will strengthen our energy sector overall, champion innovation over punitive tax measures on ordinary consumers. Enough of behavioral science that has sent our nation toward recession. Again, we are interested in outcomes, not photo ops. We will bring accountability and ethics back to the sector and not let Parliament get mired down for months like the Liberals did, refusing to hand over documents to Parliament on their green slush fund. We will speed up and bring clarity to resource projects so that they can move ahead or know why not. We'll create a Canada First National Energy Corridor with pre-approvals and First Nations partnerships. All involved will benefit and we become a more resilient and independent nation, stronger and trading with each other. We'll champion mitigation so that our community can better withstand any climate crisis. We'll export our world-class ideas to benefit climate outcomes around the world.
The Green Party recognizes the urgency of the climate crisis and the severe impacts experienced in BC. We have declared a climate emergency and are committed to World War II-like mobilization to restructure the energy economy. Our immediate priorities include initiating the transition from carbon-based energy to sustainable energy at a rate of at least 6% a year. We will oppose new fossil fuel infrastructure and divest from fossil fuels, redirecting investments to clean energy projects. We will build a modern power grid across Canada to support 100% clean energy. To prepare for and respond to climate disasters, we will create a National Civil Defence Corps with members in communities across Canada providing training and equipment for disaster response. We will also prioritize the needs of the most vulnerable when addressing climate change adaptation and establish a National Climate Adaptation Fund.
Newton candidates and transportation. TransLink is facing drastic cuts to service due to a significant operational funding gap. What is your position on federal investment in Metro Vancouver's transportation infrastructure, including transit expansion, goods movement corridors, and road improvements?
Thank you, and this is an excellent question. If I look back, I remember when I was representing Newton North Delta, there was a need for a South Fraser perimeter road and making sure that the Burns Bog is protected. We invested $40 million into the Burns Bog, but at the same time invested in the South Fraser perimeter road. And then we look at the last three mandates. Surrey asked for a lightweight transit. We funded that. And then the next mayor came in, they wanted the SkyTrain. We put $1.7 billion. We invested $1.7 billion. If you look at the Conservative record, in those 10 years they were in power, not a single project came to Surrey. But when it comes to Liberal, all those infrastructure projects were built by Liberals.
Next, I invite Cloverdale Langley City. Your question is around infrastructure and transportation. Oh, no, sorry, wrong, public safety. Glad you're paying attention. As Surrey transitions to the Surrey Police Service, federal law enforcement responsibilities such as border security, organized crime, and immigration enforcement will continue to be handled by the RCMP. What specific measures will your party take to ensure smooth coordination between federal agencies and the Surrey Police Service?
That's a good question. Excuse me. It's all about transparency. I have a number of friends who are police officers, both in the RCMP and in private forces as well. Municipal forces, I should say. And they've said the same thing to me over and over again. People aren't talking. They don't know who they're supposed to be going after. They're not sure what their mandates are, what they're responsible for. I need to see more communication, and that's the biggest thing that we're trying to achieve, is making sure all of these parties are talking, leading with their mandates as an organization. We have seen a significant drop-off in the last 20 years from various parties in terms of how we manage our borders, how we manage our cities. And I'm kind of tired of seeing that. I want to see people and organizations working together to protect our cities. That's what's most important. Thank you.
Next, we have Fleetwood Port Kells and Surrey Centre. Your topic is education. As the Surrey and White Rock communities continue to grow, ensuring access to quality education for all students becomes even more critical. Recognizing that education is primarily a provincial responsibility, what specific actions would your party take to ensure adequate funding, modern infrastructure, and other supports to provide students in our region with the tools and opportunities they need to succeed in both the classroom and beyond? And we'll start with Shannon.
All right. So I think we can all agree education is a foundational piece to creating a strong and prosperous community. Every Canadian deserves a quality education. Sadly, there are just too many barriers in place to prevent people from getting that higher education. I graduated from SFU about 3 years ago, so the student struggle is very recent to me. While pursuing my post-secondary education, I worked 3 jobs and still did full-time school and extracurriculars just so I could make my living expenses, I could pay for my tuition and my textbooks. And you know what's the crazy part? It still wasn't enough. I still had to rely on a student loan. While pursuing post-secondary, so the NDP is here to actually advocate that funding for supports that modern school infrastructure and ensuring that equitable access to resources for all students, so we don't have to have these barriers to prevent people from getting the education that they deserve. We need an education system that is accessible for all, not just those who can afford it. And we will be partnering with local governments and
So look, this is a passion project for me. Since 2015, I advocated for the largest SIF. It's a Strategic Information Investment Fund by the Ministry of Industry for Surrey, which received $90 million to make the Sustainable Energy and Environmental Engineering Campus, bringing the first engineering campus to Surrey, beautiful Surrey, which now has 450 engineering students graduating out of there every single year. The second I have advocated and pushed for in my last election was for Surrey's SFU Family Medicine Medical School, which I'm glad to say is now scheduled to open in 2026 with 48 seats, and eventually the new campus at 148 seats by 2029, which we as a federal government and I will be advocating to make sure it gets its fair share of federal funding. Lastly, we eliminated interest on federally funded student loans and will continue to work to make students' lives a lot more affordable and a lot more easier.
Next, Surrey and White Rock candidates, please come forward. Your topic is support for small business. What specific measures will your party take to support small and medium-sized businesses, which make up the majority of businesses in Canada, who are recovering from inflationary pressures and rising costs? This time, we'll start with Carrie Lynn, please.
I was Minister of National Revenue and sat on Treasury Board, so I know how to be part of these solutions. We need to measure all our decisions through a small business cost lens. The Liberals threw that out. We'll have a tax reform task force working on income tax fairness from day one. No more write-offs of luxury corporate jets, only the equivalent of a commercial flight. Required charter flights will be exempt. Traveling trades workers will be able to write off the full cost of food, transport, and accommodation to get them to and from job sites. We'll create a fund to support businesses and workers directly impacted by the U.S. tariffs. And we're going to direct the CRA to stop harassing and auditing innocent small business owners and instead crack down on tax havens and multi-millionaire tax evaders like Mark Carney. He has taken $5.3 billion out of the Canadian economy by relocating to Bermuda, Cayman Islands, and New York.
Thank you, Carrie Lynn.
The Green Party's specific measures include eliminating all federal income tax on earnings under $40,000. This will put more money directly into the hands of Canadians, boosting local spending and revitalizing local economies where these businesses operate. We will also shift the tax burden to ensure the wealthiest Canadians and large corporations pay their share, which can free up resources and potentially reduce the tax burden on small and medium-sized enterprises. Our commitment to make community wealth an economic and social priority will support community economic development initiatives that directly benefit local businesses. We will implement a Canada First purchasing policy for government departments, prioritizing the procurement of goods and services from businesses within the host province. We will provide strong financial support for Canadian-owned small and medium businesses that may be impacted by tariffs or other measures of economic warfare.
And over to you, Ernie.
Thank you. As a small business owner, I recognize that most of the small businesses are struggling nowadays, and that's what we, the Liberal Party, want to ensure is not going to be the end of what the small businesses are the backbone of Canada. Federally, there is work to be done to do reducing red tape and finding solutions to improve the movement of goods and services across the country, which will reduce costs for everyone, including small and medium businesses. Currently, efforts to address these challenges are fragmented across multiple federal bodies that lack focus, coordination, and clear accountability. What's needed is a government with the will to act decisively. We must ensure Canada's workers and businesses are not held back by outdated and unnecessary regulatory burdens.
Your question is on workforce and immigration. question is, with an aging population who has their own struggles and declining birth rates, businesses rely on immigration to fill labor gaps. What changes do you propose to improve Canada's immigration system to better meet labor market and community demands while supporting newcomers?
Thank you. I came to Canada as an immigrant as well. Went to University Calgary, got my engineering degrees, moved to here and ran my small business. I exactly understand how the immigration works, because if we look at this, by 2030, 5 million Canadians, as Jocelyn said, is going to retire. And we got to infill those positions. Only way we can do is by immigration. So we got to have a balanced immigration where we can bring in tradespeople, we can bring in economic people, and also the parents and the grandparents, because we want to bring families together. I sat on the immigration committee and chaired that, and the minister has taken my advice on those issues. And if you look at the last few months of that period, we have changed as the businesses need, and we will continue to meet those needs.
Thank you so much. Next is Cloverdale Langley City, and I invite Kevin to the microphone. Your question is around trade. Given the shifting dynamics of Canada-US relations and the broader global economic challenges, what steps would your party take to support businesses in Surrey and White Rock by diversifying trade opportunities? How will your policies help local businesses reduce reliance on the US market and access new international markets to drive long-term economic growth in our region?
Thanks for the question. I would, I look, I've had involvement in the past with different importing and exporting, and I can see what the barriers are like, trying to get through the red tape, the bureaucracy that we have to do just to get certain products into this country. We've become far too reliant on dealing with the US in the past. Yes, we've had a positive trade partnership with them in the past, but it's time to get more sustainable, look after ourselves, look out for other partners. There are people out there, there are countries out there who are wanting to trade, who are wanting to get into the sandbox of Canada. But we're making it far too difficult to get into business with these countries and organizations. To me, I want to be able to see more diversification. I want to see more countries have an opportunity to say, hey, we have a product, we have something that we can support, and vice versa. We have things locally that we can give to them that it'll be amazing.
Next, we have Fleetwood Port Kells and Surrey Centre. Can you please come forward? Your topic is healthcare. Given that healthcare in Canada is partly funded and regulated by the federal government through the Canada Health Transfer and national standards, how do you plan to ensure equitable access to healthcare services, especially in areas like mental health and long-term care? And what steps will you take to strengthen the federal government's role in supporting healthcare here in Surrey and White Rock? I will start with Randeep, please.
Sure. In the last 10 years, in the 2 health accords we've signed with the province, we've given record-breaking amounts of health transfers to the province of British Columbia. I believe it was $42 billion, of which almost $20 billion plus are new funding. In addition, for British Columbia, we gave $750 million over 5 years for mental health services, and an additional $750 million for home care for seniors so they can stay in a dignified way in their homes longer. Unfortunately, the challenges with that is the delivery of that is with the provinces. So we do not control the delivery of that services, and I think a lot of improvement needs to be done on that. My promise to you is to advocate for Surrey's fair share of hospital spaces. We cannot live in an environment where Vancouver has 3,000 acute care beds and Surrey has only 600. They get a new St. Paul's and we get a small 180-room hospital. So I will passionately work on those 2 issues so that we get our fair share going forward.
Shannon.
Thank you. So my answer is very simple. Healthcare should be public, it should be universal, and it should be accessible to all. Both the Liberals and the Conservatives have said they're not going to expand on pharmacare. The NDP has constantly reminded people that we are here to fight for the people, to make sure that universal healthcare is still present. When a doctor writes you a prescription, you should be able to pick it up. It's as simple as that. You need a government that's consistently fought to strengthen public universal health care, and the NDP is now looking forward to expand to pharmacare and dental care and mental health supports for Canadians. You shouldn't have to pick between getting your medications or affording your rent and paying for groceries. That's just not the Canada we should be living in. We'll also be investing in training and hiring more doctors, especially in the growing communities like Surrey and White Rock. The NDP is working towards making sure every Canadian has a family doctor by 2030. Thank you.
Candidates, please come forward. Your topic is infrastructure and transportation. Surrey and White Rock are growing rapidly, with Surrey set to be the largest city in BC in the next 5 years. Increased population means more demand on our infrastructure. How will you attract federal investment to support our growing population and infrastructure needs? We will start with the Greens, move to the Liberal, and then the Conservative candidate. So Christine, please start us off.
The Green Party will attract federal investment by prioritizing municipalities that plan for smart growth with higher densities conducive to mass transit and protect green spaces. We will restructure existing infrastructure funds to support these communities. Furthermore, our commitment to a national affordable housing program and investment in co-op housing will be supported by federal funding addressing the increased demand from population growth. Sustainable infrastructure projects in growing urban centers.
It's important that we look to invest in the infrastructure needs of our entire region. That's one of the key priorities of the Liberals under this election with Bart Carney. Congestion at the Dease Island Tunnel, congestion on our roads, lack of investments in public transit in this riding are all the priorities that need to be actioned in the coming years. The impending cuts to services are a particular concern because I'm worried about that directly affecting our riding. The funding structure within Metro Vancouver is obviously very broken, and I believe that that organization needs to be looked at very closely by the provincial government. But federally, we need to seek funding to invest in major projects.
Surrey and White Rock's business districts are safe and vibrant.
Excellent. In 2015, I got re-elected as a member of parliament. I remember the city asked for 100 police officers. Conservatives were in power. They gave none to Surrey. And we promised 100 police officers. Right in the first few months, those 100 officers were delivered. When it comes to CBSA and RCMP, the Conservatives made cuts and we invested in those, and we will continue to invest more. We will hire 1,000 CBSA officers, 1,000 RCMP officers to deal with the organized crime, the drugs trafficking that's coming from our south borders. But at the same time, we will also invest in prevention as well, just like Safe Surrey program. That's one of the key. And we will continue to shut down all those super labs that are doing the drug business here in Surrey.
Kevin, your topic is education. We believe that education is a foundational requirement to building economies and cities. How will you advocate for federal investments in post-secondary education, trades training, and upskilling programs to ensure Surrey and White Rock have the talent pipeline needed to meet future business demands?
It's a good question, and for anyone who's a Canucks fan here, we don't have the farm team, so that's probably why we're not developing. But anyway, I think it's interesting, things like access to post-secondary education is incredibly important. Trades as well. The Greens are advocating for free post-secondary and trade education. And the reason this is important to us is because it is taking away one of the barriers that is holding back a lot of people from even aiming to attend, and that's money. People don't want to be saddled with student loans and things that are holding them back from trying to pursue their passion and innovation in the workplace and in the industry. Keeping that talent in-house, locally in our community, that's what's going to keep building our companies, building our communities, and being able to give back to a lot of the education and opportunities that we were given. Thank you.
Newport Health and Surrey Centre, Shannon and Brandy, please come forward. Your topic is cost of living. The rising cost of living has become a top-of-mind issue affecting talent attraction and retention. What will you do to address affordability in Surrey and White Rock so that businesses can continue to grow with a stable local workforce? I will start with Shannon, please.
Sorry, just bear with me for a second.
Do you mind if Randy goes?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Sure.
Pages are stuck together.
So the first thing we did is reduce the small and medium-sized business tax rate by 3% federally, from 12% to 9%. That was the first start we did. The second is we brought in BC's own Pacific Economic Development Agency, which is a federal agency designed, it used to be Western Diversification. We've spawned it off of that, and it's headquartered now in Surrey Centre right here with a $550 million budget that helps small and medium-sized businesses scale up. It gives them money, it gives them loans, it gives them grants so that they can improve productivity, hire more people, and export more throughout the world. The third thing is to get the talent that they need. Have an immigration policy that's nimble so that you can bring the talent that you need quickly and efficiently so that they can support their industries and create more business. Lastly, we've opened the doors with over 50 free trade agreements with the European Union, CPTPP, and other countries across the world. We're going to open those opportunities so our small and medium-sized businesses can work everywhere.
So, I understand obviously the cost of living is on the rise. It's one of the biggest challenges I've been hearing when I go door to door, when I'm going house to house, door knocking, canvassing. When workers can't afford to live where they are working, it affects everything from talent attraction to retention to the local economic growth. The key to keeping a strong local workforce is to make sure that the community members have a more affordable life. The NDP has a real plan to reduce the cost for families, improve access to services, and support fair wages. So businesses can grow. It can grow with confidence, knowing that their employees can afford to live and thrive in their own community. So the ways in which the NDP and I would support a stable local workforce is by implementing policies like universal pharmacare, affordable child care, and rent control to ease financial pressures. So by addressing these housing and healthcare costs, we'll ensure local businesses can attract and retain a stable workforce.
Next up, Surrey White Rock candidates, please come forward. Your topic is trade, and the question is, I'm going to give you a heads up so you can be ready. We're going to start with Ernie, then Carrie Lynn, and then Christine. The question is, many businesses in Surrey and White Rock, particularly those in industries like manufacturing and agriculture, are facing increased tariffs and trade barriers with the U.S. How do you plan to advocate for Canadian businesses at the federal level to reduce the impact of these tariffs, ensure fair trade practices, and support businesses in navigating these challenges? Ernie, please get us started.
I was speaking to the owner of the Pacific Brokers yesterday around the trade and the tariffs that are coming our way. and he was talking about the businesses bringing their products into Canada, and that different levels of government regulations are killing the small businesses, and they are not allowing for the trade to be going back and forth between Canada and the United States. We need to be looking at trading with other partners around the world, looking at providing incentives to businesses around working with new, different countries and bringing the trade in a stronger fashion back into Canada.
Thank you. Next,
Sorry, got mixed up. I was looking at her. Well, let's be clear. Canada will never be the 51st state. We must be stronger economically and more respected internationally so we can be strong at any negotiating table. Unleashing our industry, cutting taxes on our workers and businesses must all go toward a prosperous future. We'll have zero capital gains taxes on Canadian reinvestment. Build more homes, LNG plants, pipelines, mines, and more to become our own independent economic fortress here in Canada. This is the only way to deal effectively against external forces, including President Trump. We will increase our GDP by 7% if we just tear down interprovincial trade barriers. We can do this. Protect our borders, strengthen our military, increase hope and productivity, cut down on crime, and get our economy heading up instead of down. We are the party of change, and we want to make life more affordable for all of you.
Christine.
Our core strategy is to build Canada's economic sovereignty. This includes creating strategic reserves of Canadian resources through crown corporations. Quebec is already doing this with maple syrup. We want to do it with other Canadian resources, which will help protect our industries from foreign tariffs and ensure domestic supply. We will also end the rip and ship approach to natural resources and promote domestic processing to create value-added jobs within Canada. The Green Party will guarantee strong financial support for Canadian-owned small and medium-sized businesses, which are negatively impacted by tariffs or other economic warfare tactics, and explore and deepen economic, political, and defense links with the European Union, providing crucial alternative markets for businesses in Surrey and White Rock, thus reducing reliance on the U.S.
Newton candidate could come forward. D, encourage innovation and competitiveness among Canadian businesses.
Thank you. First and foremost is we were operating under 13 different economies. We have made sure, and effective July the 1st, there will not be 13 economies. There will only be one economy. That is the one we achieved. When it comes to innovation and research, we have provided funding to the post-secondary education institutions, including institutions like SFU and KPU in Surrey, to make sure that we provide those individuals that go through the program at the graduate level. When they move into the post-graduation and PhDs, they have the strong base to compete on a global level.
Okay, Cloverdale, Langley City. Kevin, please come forward. Your topic is environment and sustainability, and your question is, how will your government balance environmental goals with the economic interests of communities like Surrey and White Rock, especially in construction, real estate, and trucking?
Yeah, that's a good question. I find it interesting that a lot of this is tied to tax and tax reform. Being able to balance, your economy and sustainability and environmentalism is largely, determined by where does the money come from. Right now, people aren't willing to give money. People don't want to give money. They want to keep it in their pockets. The big businesses want to keep it in their pockets. The little business wanted to. I want to. Everyone wants to keep money in their pockets. But the only way to balance those two together is to say, hey, how do we do better for ourselves? How do we do better for our communities? How do we do better for our country? And that means being able to give a little bit more. All of these industries are suffering from that. We need to be able to say, it's time. It's time to be able to give back. It's time to be able to say, let's balance what we know is good for the long-term growth and health of our country, and right now balance it with the short term. Thanks.
Next, Fleetwood Court Kells and Surrey Centre candidates, please come forward. Your topic is childcare. And I'm trying to shorten the question a bit here. Childcare is a critical part of supporting families and enabling parents to participate fully in the workforce. And the Surrey Board of Trade for a long time has said that childcare is a business issue. The federal government has provided support through various programs. However, private operators are excluded from accessing capital funding through the new Child Care Spaces Fund, which is essential for expanding and improving facilities. What is your plan to ensure that private childcare operators who play a vital role in our economy have the resources they need to expand, improve, and keep costs manageable for families in Surrey and White Rock? We will start with Randeep, please.
Sure. First of all, it's the first time the federal government has gone in the business of childcare to help childcare. Conservatives voted against this. They never brought in a childcare policy. The federal government brought in a childcare policy to bring childcare down to $10 a day. That transition has been happening. It's almost down to $750 to $500, and in another year or year and a half, I think it'll be down to $250. This has made a massive impact from the $1,300 a month. Combined with the Canada Child Benefit, which is almost $650 a month tax-free, as opposed to the conservative model that was a taxed benefit that was given to the millionaires as well as those in middle and lower incomes, but taxed at the end of the day. This has remarkably made a massive impact, not only to the affordability and poverty levels, but also in order to bring more women and more productivity amongst women. Lastly, this is something we need to work with the provincial government so that they give those funding dollars for capital improvements equally to public and private childcare.
I can appreciate the fact that childcare is critical for families working families in Surrey. The NDP will expand access by ensuring that private childcare operators can access federal funding for facility upgrades while prioritizing affordability through universal childcare programs. Unlike Conservatives who have neglected public investment or Liberals that have had who've excluded private operators from key funding streams, we'll work collaboratively with our providers to meet the growing demand here in Surrey.
Thank you. Next, I would like to invite South Surrey White Rock candidates to come forward. Your topic is taxes and regulation. Our speaker order will be Conservatives, Greens, Liberals. And your question is, the Surrey Board of Trade has advocated for a comprehensive review of our tax system, guided by the principles of tax competitiveness, simplicity, fairness, and neutrality. Would you support a whole-of-system tax review? Carrie Lynn.
We intend to set up a tax reform task force within the first 90 days to ensure tax fairness. We're going to cut income tax by 15%. A worker earning $57,000 will save $900 a year, $1,800 for a double income household. We'll start red tape reduction of all the federal government by 25% in the first 2 years and pass a 2-for-1 law requiring admin savings. For every new regulation, 2 will be gone. We'll lower taxes for seniors while protecting all their pension benefits at age 65. They'll pay no tax on additional earnings up to $34,000 and keep their RSP savings growing until age 73. Everyone can add another $5,000 per year into a TFSA if they have the ability. We'll axe the GST on new home purchases up to $1.3 million, saving a buyer $65,000, and on Canada-built cars, saving $2,500 on a $50,000 purchase.
Thank you very much. Christine is next.
Yes, the Green Party would absolutely support a whole-of-system tax review. Our existing policies already call for a broad-based reform of the personal and corporate tax systems aimed at making them simpler, fair, more efficient, and more progressive. We want to close the wealth gap. We recognize the current tax system isn't fair. Our plan includes eliminating all federal income tax on earnings under $40,000 to provide immediate financial relief for lower and middle income Canadians and revitalize local economies. We also advocate for making the wealthiest Canadians and large corporations pay their fair share. We believe in tax shifting from taxes that subsidize environmental degradation to environmentally friendly taxes and ensuring those who use the commons fairly reimburse society.
Well, first of all, thank you to the Surrey Board of Trade for advocating for a review of our tax system. I believe that all the policies of the government in the tax area need to be reviewed, and we're bringing a whole new government with a leader under Mark Carney, who is an economist, and we'll be looking at a lot of the policies that currently exist. Mark Carney-led government's fiscal policy will focus first on reining in wasteful and ineffective government spending, creating room for personal income tax cuts so that Canadians can keep more of their hard-earned money and better cope with the higher cost of living. Now is the time for a more efficient and effective government, one that delivers better results while spending responsibly. By streamlining operations and reducing waste, we can ensure that all Canadians benefit from a focused and sustainable government.
Thanks, Rob. Next is Surrey Newton. I invite Sue to the microphone. Your topic is taxes and regulation. And your question is, the Surrey Board of Trade has highlighted significant concerns about excessive red tape across all levels of government, which is impacting business operations, growth, and innovation in the region. Given that many businesses report regulatory burdens, such as the Canada Revenue Agency's audits and lengthy approval processes, how do you plan to address and reduce bureaucratic barriers to help businesses in Surrey and White Rock thrive?
As my background is a small business, and 80% of the business in Surrey, Newton, and across Surrey are small business. And Randeep's and my office being the busiest in the whole of Canada, these issues has come forward to us. It's not only on a federal level. In fact, whether it is local issues, provincial issues, better than waiting in the line for months.
Candidates, you have done a great job. As we near the end of our program, we ask our candidates to please provide a 1-minute final comment for us. You can stand up, get ready at the microphone. I think we'll start with Cloverdale, Langley City, so you can get ready, and then on deck would be Fleetwood Port Kells. In your remarks, please indicate how you will ensure the unique needs of Surrey and White Rock are represented in Ottawa. Give examples of the tactics you would use to shine a spotlight on our region and how you have previously advocated for local priorities.
That's a great question and a great sentiment for sure. You know, I've lived in the area for as long as I can remember, and I don't really feel like whenever I vote, I'm putting a vote on a ballot and it kind of just goes into the ether. I don't really feel like I'm getting any kind of advocacy. And that's one of the reasons, as I said before, why I'm running. I would like to be that voice. You know, I want to be able to tie your voices together. You guys, we are all the common people You know, we're not unique because we're MPs or candidates, that I should say. We're just people, just like you guys. And you know, I want to be able to tie all those levels of government together, all of you guys together, because you guys are what keep us going in this country. It's not politicians. We're just a face representing you guys, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. I want to bring everyone together and to give you guys the power. That's the important thing. So thank you.
Next, I invite Shannon from Fleetwood Port Kells to the microphone, and on deck would be the South Surrey and White Rock team, and we'll start with Carrie Lynn. Shannon.
All right, so being a younger candidate comes with the benefits of having time and energy to connect with my community and to hear their concerns, of course. Also, being born and raised in the city, I have a great understanding of what has changed since I was born here, and what is needed to be happening to move in the long term, because future generations will have to be here to make sure we're planning for the long term. As chairperson of many local nonprofit societies, I've advocated successfully for community funding initiatives like youth programs, like hospital technology advancement. I have the on-the-ground experience through my community service work, and I'm able to bridge those gaps in the community. In Parliament, I'll use tools like petitions, private member bills, and direct advocacy with ministers to spotlight our region's needs, whether it's securing transit funding or addressing housing issues. Thank you.
Christine, and then Ernie.
Well, we do have unique issues, but many of our major challenges are shared right across the country. We'll cut GST on new home purchases under $1.3 million, as I mentioned. That saves $65,000 and $3,000 a year in mortgages. We'll fast-track building and work with municipalities to reduce red tape. We'll have a 3 strikes and you're outlaw. If you're convicted of 3 serious crimes, no house arrest, no bail, no probation, you will do serious jail time, along with those convicted of intimate partner violence and fentanyl traffickers. We'll bring in a Blue Seals program that's patterned on the Red Seal program for the trades. This will fast-track certifying for doctors and nurses in Canada who meet our standards but are trained elsewhere. And if they don't pass the first time, we'll support them to upgrade. This will also apply to professionals who already work here. Let them go province to province. There's a lot of work ahead. Canada first. Conservatives led by Pierre Poilievre are ready to go!
And Christine.
When you go to vote, you're not just looking at the platform, you're looking at the people and the leaders, and do they have the capacity and the will to follow through. The Green Party is the most transparent. We're the one with a fully costed platform. We can pay for our promises. In addition, the Green Party is not compromised by corporate interests. So when we say we'll tax the rich, we will tax the rich. And I would like to read, when you become a Green Party candidate, you are required to sign a pledge. I would like to read this to you. I, Christine Kinney, hereby pledge to conduct myself with dignity, showing respect to all living things, including political opponents, never heckle in Parliament, maintain an exemplary level of decorum, work hard, and earn the trust of my constituents through honesty, diligence, and a commitment to service. And my mentor is Elizabeth May, who's been nominated the hardest working MP many times. I would work for you and for your interests, and not for the party.
Ernie.
There is no question that the top issue in this election is choosing the leader who is best equipped to negotiate with our neighbors to the south. As your Liberal Party candidate, I can offer a record of community engagement and leadership. I've been a White Rock City Councillor, and I have a strong presence as a small business owner and community leader. This includes a leadership role with the BIA and the Chamber of Commerce. I have worked with many groups to continue to work for an inclusive community and helping families and the vulnerable populations. I will continue my community-centered approach as your Member of Parliament. I'm focused on large issues, grassroots engagement, and policy specifics that are closely related to the need of all the residents of South Surrey and White Rock. Liberals will deliver results. Canada strong. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Before I got elected for 10 years, a Conservative government brought $0 to Surrey. No infrastructure, nothing for our post-secondary students, nothing for preventative or intervention programs for our youth, nothing for our transportation needs. It was all they done. Since coming to office, we've been able to make SkyTrain connecting Surrey to Langley and making Surrey now the center of Lower Mainland. We brought in Simon Fraser's new engineering campus. We brought Canada's largest and most state-of-the-art forensic lab, which Mark Carney has promised to even expand going further. We brought in the Safe Surrey Anti-Gang Family Empowerment Program with $7.5 million the first time, $4 million again the next time, so that our children get the preventative and intervention that they need. And going forward, we're going to build more homes like the over 1,000 low-income and market housing that we've already built in Surrey Centre. We will build them faster, we'll build them quicker, and in a more affordable way so that we all have a home in our own city.
Thank you again, Justin. Thank you, everyone. The first and foremost responsibility for an elected representative is to be accessible to its constituents. I can see some of my constituents are here. I have been accessible 24/7, 365 days a year with one number, one cell phone number available to everyone. And that is what I will continue. The second one is, I have served under 5 different leaders. The voice of Newton North Delta has always been my priority, not the leader's priority, as now. I'm sure conservative members, I was talking to some of the conservative candidates, they say that we have to take a permission even to come to meetings like this or to speak. How can they represent them? But when it comes to Sukh Dhaliwal, I'm ready right now under the leadership of Mark Carney.
Presenting your ideas for our consideration. And thank you to the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board and Sheraton Vancouver Guildford Hotel for your sponsorship and support. Without our sponsors, we would not be able to host events like this for our members and our many guests. Do not forget to vote now that you've heard all of the things you need to know. On April 28th, advanced voting polls will open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. April 18th through the 21st. You can visit elections.ca to find out more about how to vote. And this concludes the Surrey and White Rock Federal Election Candidates event. Have a great week.
Can we